Never say no alcohol.
Say
Warriors on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Warriors! So this happened about 2 years ago. It was my sister's birthday, and with one of our best friends, we decided to go out to a restaurant / drag show. It's pretty fun. But after that, after we had a lot of fun, my sister decided to go out to a club. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I guess. I mean, it's not my go-to thing and I'm not too comfortable, but I was like, you know what? It's my sister. I love her. I want to spend time with her. I want her to know that I appreciate her. Let me just sacrifice whatever I feel on the inside and let's just go. I really didn't want to go, not because of her, but because of the environment. I just didn't feel comfortable. But being the nay that I was back then, I was like, okay, I could go. I'm gonna be okay. I get there and my freak out started. I got a panic attack. I couldn't think straight, and my best friend noticed that I was looking uncomfortable as heck, and I didn't say much. I just waited a little bit until I thought my panic attack was gonna be gone, but it didn't. I was really uncomfortable and I wanted to cry. But I texted my best friend and I just left. And it wasn't a pretty night afterwards. I felt really shitty. So, the point of the story is that I put myself there, right? Because I wanted to sacrifice that for my sister because I love her, I appreciate her. But then I did that to myself. So, years later, I'm like years later, 2 years later, recently I've been getting out of my comfort zone and I've been stepping out, like going out with different people. I don't know why I said stepping out. I like going out with different people, but they're not strangers, right? There's people that I like to talk to, people that I vibe with, but I've been doing more outings and doing that quite frequently actually. So right now for me, it's been really weird, you know, because I'm like, oh my God, back then I would freak out with different types of people, no? But then now, okay, I'm feeling a lot better. I don't even freak out. I'm myself the whole time. So this is where Taz and I were talking about the other day, where sometimes there has been situations in the past where I have changed my energy based on the type of people that I'm with. And my obstacle has always been on how is it that I can do that at the gym where I am myself, but then the moment that I go out there, like things change, my energy changes. This is where we talked about how is it that I can keep my energy despite the fact of who's around me or not. You know how there's some times that, you know, you speak to certain people and you know their energy is heavy and you feel it and you're like, I don't want to be around that person. Or there's other times that some people feel like you can't be yourself around them. And so that was something that I was trying to figure out myself, right? But then we came up to a conclusion that it really is about knowing yourself. And this was based on the conversation with Taz, because I asked him, like, how is it that you can be all cool with everybody or not, or like you can just be yourself, right? And he's just like, well, I've accepted who I am. And at that moment I was like, I feel like I've accepted who I am, but actually no, I didn't accept who I was, because there was always that part of me that wanted to change for them, right? Because I changed what I like and what I don't like based on wanting to please my sister. And, you know, it's not against her or anything. Like, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody. It was just me doing that because I wanted to make her happy. But in my attempt of making her happy, I freaked myself out, and now she's worried about me, and now that backfired. So that slapped me in the face. And on top of that, that ruined my night and probably made it all worse for her too. So it really didn't help the situation. But being myself despite anybody who's around me is the key to everything, right? And the only way for me to do that is by accepting who I am and setting those boundaries. Just because someone is making you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to be around that person. I mean, there's going to be times that there's going to be resistance with people. In MMA, you're going to have resistance. People are going to feel very tense sometimes. Or sometimes people are going to have really shitty energies. And they're going to go hard. But just because they're going hard doesn't mean you have to get to that level too. You don't have to fight with that friction on top of that. Like, you can stay calm. And so ultimately it's just understanding who I am, what I like, what I don't like, and following it through and actually committing to myself. So now I've been doing that more often, where I've accepted this, like this, what you see here is what I've accepted. And that's why a lot of things are flowing now, because if I don't like something, then I'm not gonna go. If I don't like a certain situation, if I don't like a certain environment, I'm not gonna put myself there. And then he asked me, he's like, were you willing to say something if you were not comfortable? And the answer was yes, because I don't need to put myself there anymore. I learned my lesson, right? I don't need to be there anymore. I'm not like I used to be. That was the point in my life that I was like, okay, I get it, but then that's not me anymore. So I can take that power back and do something about it. Ultimately, it's just making sure that I'm okay with who I am. That's all it is. Making sure that I'm okay with my decisions and setting those boundaries. The boundaries are just like we practice in MMA and how to use our defense and offense, is the same thing in life. We need to learn how to protect ourselves and our energy by establishing who we are and setting those boundaries, right? But then if I can do it in MMA, I can do it in life. So that's how I'm able to connect both. And that's what's making more sense in my head. So the moment that I feel like shit, I need to be like them, or I need to try harder, that's the moment that I think of like, how is it that I can do that at the gym? How is it that I can keep my cool while doing stuff and while training at the gym, when I can do that there, so I can do it out there too? Like, I need to speak up when it's needed. I need to establish who I am, and I need to say something if I don't like it. And I can't be scared to do it. I have to do it because it's only gonna help me get that resilience. It's gonna help me be more confident in myself. And if we're not flowing, well, there's nothing I could do. It is that. It doesn't have to suck. It only sucks if you make it think like it sucks. Like, if you put it in your head, oh my God, well, we grew apart. Well, but then there's always room for better opportunities. There's always room for meeting new people and having better company, having new company. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. All right.